Hello. Welcome to my new movie review for The Gods Must Be Crazy, the 1980 movie. Written and directed by Jamie Uwais. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be so fun. Oh my goodness. If you were born in the 2000s, you have to watch this movie. Now, I own this movie on DVD, so I actually don't know how you get a copy of this. This is a really, really old film. Oh man, this is such an old film. This is such a good movie, guys. Oh, this is such a good movie. So this movie goes for an hour and 49 minutes, just shy of 2 hours. Guys, this movie is so funny. It's absolutely incredible how good this movie is. Wow, this is a good movie, guys. Oh my gosh. This movie is absolutely hilarious, cute, clever. Man, there's so many words I can put into a box about this movie, guys. There really is. So the director of this movie also has a cameo, which I really love when directors cameo in their own movies. I love that. I wish more directors would do that. For me, it's like, it's your movie. Like, it's your movie. Like, be in it. You're not an actor. Who cares? Just have a little role in it. But the Reverend in this movie is the director of this movie, which I thought was really cool. So I'm going to give you a bit of trivia straight up, guys, which I don't normally do, but this one's a little bit of a sad trivia. And sorry to put a damper on a funny mood, but I just wanted to share this bit of trivia because I thought it was really relevant to this movie. So unfortunately, the director of this movie was literally working 14 to 18 hours days on literally months on end. Like, he just literally didn't stop. Unfortunately, in the post-production of this movie, he suffered a heart attack because of the stress and pressure he was under trying to create this movie, and they had to hire another Hollywood director to help him finish the process of the movie while he recovered, which is really sad. But on more funny news, okay, maybe not so much funny news, but more beautiful news. This movie is so unique in the sense of the Kalahari Desert. They show absolutely just mind-blowingly gorgeous scenery in this movie in the Kalahari Desert. Now, I personally have never ever been to a desert. I've seen them on TV and all that sort of stuff, but I've never physically been to a desert. And when I watch movies about desert scenes and I see people wearing like they're rugged up, it just doesn't make sense to me, because the way I think when I see a desert, I think it's boiling hot, like constantly. But apparently, it's not always boiling hot in the desert. Sometimes it's actually freezing cold because it's literally just nothing. There's nothing to block anything. So when a wind blows, it blows and it's crazy. Anyway, there's a bit of fun fact for you. I've never been to a desert. More news. So there's a character in this movie, and I would say that he's my favourite character. Oh, he's so funny in this movie. It's ridiculous. When you see, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The Bushman with the beard, I guess you could call him. He, in this movie, every time the Reverend is around, he doesn't actually say a swear word, but he'll go like that. That's how he swears in this movie. But every time, without fail, when he says anything like that, it's he says, "Sorry, Reverend." It's just, oh, guys, this movie is so brilliantly, beautifully hilarious. It's absolutely just one of the fun. I can genuinely say this. It is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. Seriously, because it's almost like slapstick humor. It just rolls. It just goes and goes and goes. Like it's not even always what they say. It's their actions behind behind what's going on, and it's just so funny. Oh my gosh. So the guy who makes those funny swear words and stuff like that is called Mabudi, and with the guy with the beard. Oh man, he is. I can't even begin to tell you how funny he is in this movie. Every character, every single character in this movie, even the bad guys, like it's just incredible. I'm just thinking now about a scene in it, and I'm gonna give anything away, but it's so good. Oh my gosh, it's so good. On a bit of a sad note about this movie, guys, which is really unfortunate. The main little indigenous guy, the main guy, Ike, Zai. I don't know how his name. It's spelled XI, so I don't know how you say it. Xi. I don't know. Anyway, unfortunately, in this movie, he was paid $2,000. The movie grossed 100 million worldwide. Yeah, 100 million worldwide. But yeah, he was only paid $2,000 for the entire movie. So that's pretty sad. And in the documentary of this movie, that I think it's attached to the movie. I think that's how I found out. Unfortunately, Zai. I don't know how to say his name. That little fella in this movie, he unfortunately passed away from emphysema, which is really sad. Every time in this movie that Andrew interacts with Kate in this movie, it is literally burst out loud laughing moments. Every time without fail. Every time without fail. Man alive. Their interaction in this movie. Oh man. I'm going to say this. I honestly am going to say this because I really do believe it. I honestly am going to say that their interaction in this movie is completely and utterly flawless. Seriously, it is just perfectly hilarious on every level imaginable. It is so good. The greatest song you'll ever hear in your entire life, and I promise you, once you've seen this movie, this song will stick in your head like, I'm not even going to say super glue. Something stronger than super glue. One of the most stickiest substances in the planet. And every time you think of it, you'll put a smile on your face. Kind of like Hakuna Matata. Sort of like that. And it is very similar sounding, actually. Amawa Chow Ya. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Amawa Chow Ya. That song in this movie, and they actually, I believe that, yeah, they do. They repeat that song in the second movie, and he's on a bicycle. Man alive, that song. To this day, I've never ever forgotten that song because I've seen this movie over 1,000 times. It's really that good. There's a running joke in this movie that literally gets funnier and funnier and funnier every time you hear it. Every time someone says it, it gets funnier and funnier and funnier, but I don't want to talk about it. When they first, okay, I need to paint a little picture for you for a second here. When they filmed this movie, you got to understand that this was long before digital was even a thing, was even birthed, right? So it was all done on film. Now, the unfortunate thing is, and obviously now it's on DVD, not Blu-ray, but DVD. Well, I don't think it's on Blu-ray. It's too old to be on Blu-ray. But it's on DVD. The unfortunate thing about that is, guys, is film, not only does it fade, but it also can break. Now, this is a really sad thing. It streamed in its cinema at a specific cinema in California for, I believe it was 563 days straight. Like it was one of the longest running film of its time. Like literally, I think they said it was in California, I believe. Now, it didn't actually technically stop running. Like, technically, it actually broke and a part of the film actually caught on fire, which I don't really understand how that happens. But anyway, yeah, it must have just burnt up due to the reel or whatever like that. So unfortunately, that's the only reason why they had to stop showing it in that theater. And then obviously now it's on DVD, which is the best ever. In my honest opinion, truly, in my absolute honest opinion, I have to say that this is one of those movies that could never, and when you see it, you'll understand. You will truly understand what I'm saying. They could never reboot or remake this movie. That is truly how unique this movie is. Truly. This movie is one of those movies that is just so good. It's got such incredible rewatchability, which is perfect for a film. But it is so unique that it could never ever be replicated, in my opinion. Seriously. Back in this day when this movie was made, you have to remember there was no such thing as CGI, and if there was such thing as CGI, they definitely didn't use it in this movie. So everything in this movie is practical effects. Like everything is, sorry, not practical effects. Everything is practical. Everything is practical. So when you see, Samboha in this movie manhandling, I guess you want to say, the children in this movie, it's kind of a little bit brutal. It's kind of a little bit brutal. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, you can't fake that sort of stuff. Like, you've got to really do it. Do you know what I mean? Hopefully none of the kids were hurt in this movie, but it's, they didn't seem to be. But yeah, he doesn't physically smash them around or anything, but you'll know, when you see the scene I'm talking about, you'll know what I mean. On that note, according to this film's resources, not about manhandling, but just resources itself. And this is I think this is pretty low. It is pretty low actually. None of the cast from the main group of people, when you see what I'm talking about, the main group of people, none of them at all receive royalties for this movie, which is actually really quite sad. That's why movies are made. That's literally why movies are made, for royalty purposes, and then none of them got anything, so it's like, well, where'd that money go to? Anyway, I thought this was really, really odd, more than anything. Lao Ruli, which is Samboha, which is the main villain, the bad guy, his face on IMDb is not shown, and apparently he's only in one other movie. So I just thought that was really weird, and obviously they don't show all faces on IMDb because, if they don't want their faces shown or whatever. But I just thought that was a really interesting thing, that his face specifically, being such a dominant character in The Gods Must Be Crazy, isn't even his face. You can't even find his face, so it's only in the movie, which is kind of weird. But anyway, this movie is actually narrated by Paddy O'Brien, so that's kind of cool. This is one of the things about this movie that I find absolutely incredibly creative and hilarious. The little guy, Xi, however you say his name, doesn't speak English at all. This is how he speaks. But the most creative part about this movie, guys, seriously, is the fact that, and when you see it, you'll totally get what I'm saying. You can understand him. You get, he doesn't need to say one word. Yes, it's narrated over. Yes, I understand that. But, his physicality of what he does, it literally tells the story in itself. This is one of those movies, you got to remember, that was made before iPhone. 2007, when the first iPhone came out. So this was long before that movie. So it was actually movies that you had to visually watch and take in and understand that physical humor plays a really big role in movies as well as dialogue. And it's just so clever. It's so crazy. Get it? So I'm going to wrap up this movie review, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope I've given you a slew of information about this hilarious movie. If you get a chance to find this movie is what I'm going to say to you. I don't know how you can find this movie because I don't think it'll be streaming. I mean, it could be. I haven't even checked. But if it is, go and find it, guys. The gods must be crazy. They are crazy. Guys, thank you so much for watching this movie review. You know I appreciate it. If you haven't, please subscribe already. Please leave a like if you like this movie review. And until next time, peace out. A-Town down.